Okay, we're finally here, ladies and gents. It's the final part of my complete DVD and Blu-ray movie collection right here on the CM42 TV Movie Journal. Thank you so much for tuning in. Apologies for the little delay there. I stumbled across one of the busiest weeks of my whole life. Not only to the point where I couldn't film this part 4 of this collection video, but I've also not filmed any videos for the main channel whatsoever. Usually I like filming bulk, you know. I'm exhausted. I just ran up and down the stairs. Oh, give me a second, you know. Right, well, where we left off in part 3, thank you for joining us if you're new and this is the first one you're watching, or if you've checked out all 3 parts before, I greatly appreciate you. We finished on the letter R. So now we're going from S to Z, final part. However, since that last video, I have gotten a brand new Blu-ray into the collection, a very cool one I'm going to show you. It couldn't be further away from this part because the film that it is starts with the letter A. So this should have been in part 1. But I am doing a kind of Avengers Marvel watch through right now. I just watched Avengers Assemble, about to watch Iron Man 3 tonight I believe, which is very fun. I've seen them all before, but like never like in sequence like this, really sort of religiously. And plus I'm just enjoying them a lot more now. I think it's just because at the time when they were coming out I was just watching them for the sake of it. Whereas now it's like, okay, let's actually sit down and watch them all. And we kind of, me and my sister kind of made a kind of pact where if we really enjoy the films, we'll try and collect a cool version of that for the collection. And, you know, we don't want to just order them all off of hmv.com or Amazon because that's easy. We want to like stumble across a really cool edition online on eBay, in a shop, in a second-hand shop, in a charity shop or something like that, and go, oh, look at this really cool edition, like I did that with the first Avenger Captain America film, this really cool Blu-ray steelbook, and a couple of other ones I think. This is another example. So as I said, I just watched Avengers Assemble. It is an amazing film. I can just imagine if you'd been watching them religiously at the time. I hadn't been, but I did see this film in cinemas, but I hadn't really paid much attention to them all, whereas now I have, and it's just so cool seeing them all together for the first time. But anyway, I went online, searched for the film, and found this bad boy right here, the Avengers Assemble Blu-ray steelbook. How cool is this? I got it for $4.99 used on eBay. This Avengers Assemble Blu-ray steelbook. Now, obviously it's second-hand, it's eBay, it's less than a $5. It's not in the best condition. It's in good condition, very good condition for the price. There's a little bit scuffed, a wee bit dirty. I wiped it, I cleaned it. I think it's very, very passable for, you know, $4.99, less than £5 for an amazing film and a really, really nice edition. I love that inside artwork of them all there. The blue disc, the Shield logo on the back. The spine is a picture of all their faces. I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, very cool. So very happy to have it. This is the exact thing I'm talking about. Whenever I stumble across a cool version of Thor, or Captain Marvel, or Black Panther, or anything, I'll add it to the collection. But anyway, let's stop chatting. Let's continue on to letter S here in the collection. And the first one in the S category is Scarface. And I have only watched this one time. And it was like at my mate's house when I was younger. We were playing with wrestling figures at the time, too preoccupied about the PlayStation. We didn't really get a full appreciation of the Scarface film. He loves it. I've not actually spoken to him in a long time, and I'd love to kind of watch this film and then chat to him about it. That might be a cool idea, by the way, for the channel. But anyway, Al Pacino, Scarface, can't say too much about it. However, what I did say I enjoyed, it was one of those things in HMV, whereas if you bought anything, you got this one for like £3. I think that's a great deal. Considering the fact, I think that's a great deal for any film, considering the fact it's like Scarface, this amazing film that everyone talks about. And this is a good deal too. This is Searching, one of my favourite movies of 2018. Very, very underrated in my opinion. I remember going into this film, I've talked about this on the podcast a bunch, but it was one of those ones where I was in a really good routine where I was going to the cinema every single week with my mates. There was nothing out this week, and my mate was like, let's go see Searching. I really like the look of the trailer. It's been on my list of ones I wanted to see, and I was like, I'm quite good with like knowing what's coming out and knowing what's good and what people want to see and what people are talking about and stuff. I hadn't even heard of it. I'd never heard of the main actor, I'd never heard of the director. I was like, I'm not really fussed. But we go every week, we're on a good routine, okay, let's go see it, might be fun, going in blind, you know. And I remember just absolutely loving this film, so like engrossed in it, like gripping the side of the chair, so attached to it, and Hitchcock levels of suspense, absolutely, it says it on the front cover. So good. All about social media, it's so clever, so well done. 90% of the film is all done through like social media and webcams and CCTV. Brilliant film, so underrated. And then when I talked about it on like my top 10 of 2018, the other members of the panel on the podcast were like, really? Like, what was the big deal? And I like that about it. It's like one of my films, you know. Here is Seven Samurai, DVD version. Don't have it on Blu-ray yet. I'm waiting for the right moment to find a really good edition. I know there's loads out there, but they're quite expensive, so I need to kind of watch what I'm spending. But I really just bought this just because it's talked about as one of the greatest films ever made. I was kind of in like an Asian cinema kind of kick. I also was going to review this for my mate Luke, Razor Wire Reviews. He was doing Asian Cinema Season 2 on his channel when he asked me to do a video for it. And I said, well, he loves Seven Samurai, I'd never seen it. Let me get the DVD and I'll review it, and I loved it. So, Blu-ray of that coming very soon. We go from Seven Samurai to a very similar film, The Shallows, with Blake Lively. I love shark films. Anything to do with sharks, I'm going to enjoy. The best shark movie since Jaws. I would probably agree. I really like The Shallows. I think it's underrated. I had a mate who, I went to drama school for a couple of years, as some of you know, had a mate that joined us in my third year there when I was doing my degree, who was absolutely, and still is absolutely obsessed with The Shallows, and it was like his all-time favourite film, and I loved that. And we got him on the podcast. We did a film all about movies that are based on water, and I asked him about it, and I was like, so why The Shallows? And he was like, what are you talking about? Like, why not The Shallows? I just thought it was brilliant. Here we go. The Shawshank Redemption. I was in FOP the other day, the DVD shop, and I saw a really, really cool cover of this, and I was like, oh man, I would even think about like upgrading that. I've never been wanting to do that, unless it's like Star Wars or something. I do like this cover though, because it's like the BBC Studios cover. I think it's really nice, but the other one was really cool. It was kind of darker, and it had like more characters on the cover and stuff, but I like that one. I don't know why I'm saying that, because I do like that cover anyway. But anyway, amazing film, one of the greatest films ever made. Don't need to tell you guys that. And here we have Source Code. Jake Gyllenhaal is one of my favourite actors of all time. Maybe not one of all time, I guess so, who cares. One of my favourite actors, Jake Gyllenhaal. And I was saying I'm going to collect all of his films, and this was in Poundland for £2. So I've not seen it yet though, it's still on the cover, it's still on the wrapper. That's one of the things in my collection. I try to collect just my favourite films ever, but if I see some good deals of ones I want to see, I'm not afraid to pick it up. And obviously we get into S now. You're going to see Star Wars. I'm not going to go into it too much, but here is the complete saga up until episode 6. So it's the kind of the prequels and the original trilogy, and one of my favourite Blu-ray box sets of all time. All time. Maybe my favourite edition in my entire collection. You know, I think I'm not the only one who says that. But there's the first 6 Star Wars films plus 3 special features. And I also picked these up recently from charity shops. I really wanted the prequels on the like digitally remastered DVDs that came out in the mid 2000s. So there's Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Talked about these in a kind of DVD, Blu-ray update video on the main channel. Here's Attack of the Clones. Picked up all 3 of these for like less than £2. There's Revenge of the Sith, one of my favourite movies of all time. So I thought that's a cool deal. And still sticking with Star Wars, we have Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens, in the 3D bonus disc collector's edition. I've said many times this is my favourite movie of all time. Comes and goes though, it changes. I also said that about Jaws in one of the previous parts. I just saw that in the cinema. I'm going to make a video all about that and why Jaws is one of my favourite films. Here is Star Wars Episode, wait a minute, what year was that? It's 2015, 2016, we got Rogue One. A Star Wars story, brilliant film. Some people say it's their favourite Star Wars film. I'm not one of those people, but I can see why it would be that. And then we have The Last Jedi, one of my absolute favourites. I know that's a controversial opinion, but there's a lot of people who like The Last Jedi who don't speak up about it because they're scared they're going to get bullied, which is ridiculous. Then we have Solo, Star Wars story. Really underrated in my opinion, one of my guilty pleasures. I really, really, really liked it. I thought it was great. And another one that people are just like, oh, there's no Harrison Ford. It's push. Here we go, Episode 9, Rise of Skywalker, another one that I just love. But you know the way it's like, right, okay, let's get to the end of the trilogy now. It's got a lot of talking points, but it's Star Wars, and Star Wars just at its best. It's just so much joy and fun and fantasy, and yeah, it's just, I love it. Star Wars, we don't deserve Star Wars as a race. Let's just move these down in case we have a tower failure. So that's all the Star Wars ones. Next up we have Step Brothers, one of my favourite comedies of all time. Never get sick of Step Brothers. I don't think I'm the only one that says that. Can watch it loads of times. Super bad. Just watched this, or rewatched this, for the first time in a couple of years actually, and it doesn't quite hold up. It's still funny. I watched this for the first time when I was in high school, and I just thought it was the best, because I was a teenage boy. Now watching it, I'm like, it's not that great. It's really good. It's a good film, really good idea and stuff, and it's simple but effective, but it's not, as hilarious as I thought it was before. Here we have the Taken trilogy. I love the Taken films. I think they're really good fun. I kind of chatted a little bit about the kind of Liam Neeson film when I talked about the Ice Road, the kind of newer Amazon film on this channel. And this is like where Liam Neeson is just Liam Neeson at his best. He does the same character all the time in lots of different films, but I think this is like the prototype to what the Liam Neeson kind of film should be. The Taken trilogy. They're just brilliant action films. A lot of fun. Okay, here we go. Then we have Taxi Driver. This really cool 40th anniversary edition with this really cool like painting, artwork slipcover. Really cool. Special features on this one. All new 40-minute Taxi Driver Q&A featuring Martin Scorsese, Robert De Niro, Jodie Foster and many more. Recorded live at the Beacon Theatre in New York City in 2016. Very interesting. Some new commentaries, 1986 commentary from the director. Some different documentaries and stuff. A making of documentary. Storyboard to film comparisons. Yeah, I've not really dipped into this one, which I really want to, because I do love Taxi Driver. I've only seen it twice in my life. I'd love to get back to actually, so that may be one I'll watch and talk about very soon. It's a cool edition. And this is Ted on Blu-ray Steelbook. The only reason I still have this one in the collection, because I do have sometimes like wee clear-outs and films I don't absolutely love and stuff. I don't absolutely love this film, but I like the fact it's a steelbook. It's one of the first steelbooks I ever got, along with The Dark Knight Rises. It's a really cool steelbook, for what it is. It looks different, it's kind of fun. The film is good, I was a big Family Guy fan in high school. I still like Family Guy, but obviously, but not so much. I mean, I watch it for like YouTube videos and stuff like that, but I don't watch it as much as I used to when I was in high school. And this came out in 2012, and I remember I wasn't 15 yet, I don't think. And I managed to like sneak in to see it in the cinema and stuff, so I kind of have a soft spot for it. It's not one of my favourite comedies of all time or anything like that, but I do enjoy it, so it's worth having in the collection anyway. Here we have Terminator 2 Judgment Day. I bought this recently because we talked about the first Terminator on the podcast, The Good Bit. And obviously all the chat is that Terminator 2 is the best one. Again, call back to my pal Luke at Razor Wire Reviews, said this is the version to get. And this has like 3 different versions of the film. And it's just so much better than the first one. I don't know why. Well, I don't know why. It's like bigger budget, just more epic of a film. But it's just such a great action film. One of the best action films ever. And I've only seen it once, and there's so many people who love this film and talk about it as if it's their favourite film ever. I'm sure I'll get to that point at some point. Next up, we have 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. A great film, one of my favourite films of that year, 2018, 2017? One of the two. Just an amazing film. Again, I've only seen it once. No, twice. I've seen it twice. I watched it in the cinema, and I watched it near the end of the year to see where it was going to sit on my top 10. I think it came like 3rd or something of the year it was released. So brilliant film, definitely worth having in the collection and watching again. Here we have, still not out of the cellophane, and maybe this is the time, because it's coming up to Halloween, this is the time to watch it. John Carpenter's The Thing. Got this from an Arrow Video Shocktober sale last October, and didn't watch it that October, so since we're in October again, we're coming up to Halloween. I'm not much of a horror film guy anyway, but I heard so many good things about this film. Obviously it's a classic John Carpenter film I always enjoy, so I might watch the Thing this year. That's a good shout. And here we have Tokyo Story. Not watched this yet, still in the cellophane, but I got it for a $5, great deal. Talked about it as one of the greatest films ever made, and I got this at the same time as I got Seven Samurai, because again I was in like an Asian cinema kind of feel kick. So yeah, looking forward to checking out Tokyo Story. Talked about religiously, so I'll get to that at some point. I'm sure I'm going to love it. But I think you need to kind of be in the mood and find the right time and stuff, Speaking of this one, another one that I've had for ages that I've not watched yet, I just have in the collection because I love the edition, and that is To Kill a Mockingbird. 50th anniversary edition, but the 100th anniversary collector series from Universal. This is the digibook version. Such a cool edition. It opens up like this. You got the wee book here, and the disc. Pages, it looks like pages of book. Yeah, never read the book, never seen the film. I'm waiting for the right moment, and I don't know why it strikes me as an autumnal film. maybe I'll watch it in the autumn this year. Here we have The Truman Show, one of my favourite movies of all time. I should be saying that about every one of these films, but that's just not the case. But yeah, one of my favourite films, such an amazing idea. I love Jim Carrey. It's like Jim Carrey being daft and funny, but also showing how great of an actor he is. Just like, you know, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind and Man on the Moon and films like that. He's a brilliant actor, and he shows it in here. So I love The Truman Show. One of my, like, when someone asked me, give me like 10 films you'd recommend that maybe I hadn't seen, I'd always put The Truman Show on there. For some reason it's not as beloved as maybe it should be. Next up we have Wall-E. I've only seen this one time in my life and I just loved it. And also, I don't know, collectors will get me when I say this. This Blu-ray is heavy, so it feels better. It feels like a cool edition because it's heavy. I don't know if it's just because like the Disney Blu-rays are quite hard to find. But there's something really cool. I got this was used, I got this in CEX years ago. It's a 2-disc version, that's why it's heavier obviously, but yeah, I just love Wall-E and I really want to get back to it. But there's so many in this collection that I've said over these 4 parts, I really want to get back to this, I really want to get back to that. And it's like, why have I never done it? It's just other things get in the way and you want to watch new films, and I really should just like take all the films out that I'm like, okay, I really want to get back to this one and just do a whole like marathon. That'd be a great idea actually. That's a great idea for a film. I mean a video. Here we have Whiplash, amazing film, one of the best films of the last 10 years. Seen this a couple of times, watched this like maybe 3 or 4 times. Miles Teller and J.K. Simmons, what more can you say? So intense, hooks you every time, really great writing. Obviously great music, but the writing and the acting gets overlooked because of the kind of the subject matter and the music, so. Yeah, great film. Here we have White House Down. Now I have seen this before. It's in the cellophane still, I got it in Poundland for £2, and on the last clear out I was having, this was in the chopping block. This was about to go, and for some reason, something inside me said, keep that film. I mean, I do like it. I haven't seen it in many years. Every time I've spoken about it before, I'm always like, oh yeah, it's okay. This is getting ripped to shreds. Let's just open it, shall we? Every time like I go to get rid of it and whatever, I'm always like, yeah, it's okay, I don't mind it. All my friends are like, what? White House Down is amazing. So I guess maybe that's like subconsciously it was like maybe I should keep it, but oh, there's inside artwork. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? Inside, it was worth opening. Channing Tatum jumping through fire. It was worth opening to see Channing nearly dying. I like Channing Tatum, but that's a cool picture. This is also going on the list of like, okay, here's the list of films I want to watch before I watch anything new. Let's revisit them. Alright, The Wolf of Wall Street Blu-ray Steelbook, one of my favourite editions in my collection. I don't love the film as much as I used to. When I watched this for the first time, I was like, oh my god, greatest film ever made. Nowadays, it's fine. It kind of glorifies stuff I don't necessarily believe in, and it's like, this is the way, this is greed, and this is wealth, and this is the way you should be. And I just, it's just not my message at all. But, you know, it's a great film, great acting. DiCaprio is one of my favourite actors ever, one of the greatest actors ever, so it's one of his best films anyway, and it's Scorsese too, so. Alright, last 4 films. We have The Wolverine. I really like this film. I'm not the biggest X-Men guy, because I've not seen them in a long time. But there's something about this film. I like Hugh Jackman. I don't know why, I just really like him. And The Great Showman, and I saw obviously Reminiscence recently in the cinema. It was a really good film. But yeah, I remember seeing this in the cinema, going in cold, and knowing obviously the Wolverine character, but not knowing too much about X-Men Origins and things like that. So yeah, and I also just like that cover, I like this edition. So a really good film. Happy to have it. I think it was in Poundland, you know, it's like worth £2, you know? More than worth that. Here's Wonder Woman, again a great film that I liked a lot more when I saw it for the first time. And this is another example, I've talked about this a few times through these videos, like A Star Is Born and Central Intelligence and Detroit and things like that, where I saw them in the cinema and were like, okay, that's immediately going in the collection. Manchester by the Sea, La La Land, the other ones. But I've only watched them one time. Like, I saw them in the cinema and was like, that's one for the collection. If I went back to watch them again, would they hold up? Green Book, Hell or High Water. I know Green Book holds up because I've watched that a bunch, that's a really good film, but there's a bunch of them. I have watched Wonder Woman more than once, but it's not like I like all the Marvel films more. I didn't even watch the second one, 1984, because I heard kind of like mixed things about it and it kind of put me off, but it's almost like, it's not an effort to watch it, but it's like, alright, okay, it's a big deal. But I like it, it's good. Here we have Wreck-It Ralph. An amazing and underrated Disney film. I almost prefer the second one. I think I do prefer the second one. I don't have Ralph Breaks the Internet, but I do want to get that because it is a classic, even though it's a modern classic. This is the Classics Edition 51. I'd love to get all the Disney films in this kind of like classic slipcover edition, but they kind of messed it up, didn't they? Very random. But yeah, I love Wreck-It Ralph, and I love Ralph Breaks the Internet a little bit more. And last but not least, on the Blu-ray and DVD movie collection is Zootropolis, also known as Zootopia. Oh my god, amazing film. So underrated. This was the first film I ever reviewed on a podcast. I reviewed it on the podcast I had before The Good Bit. And it was like a trial run, like it could be reviewing movies on a podcast. It went so well, we started The Good Bit, you know. And the first film we did in The Good Bit was Batman vs Superman. A much different film than this. But yeah, I love Zootropolis. A great cast, an underrated cast, and an underrated movie. So much fun. Oh my god, Zootropolis is the best. And it bothers me when people call it Zootopia. Alright, there's all my Blu-rays, all my DVDs. That is my complete movie collection here on the CM42 TV Movie Journal. Now I feel like that was kind of holding me back. I didn't want to post too many new videos until I got through the whole collection. But now we can go here on the Movie Journal. So thank you for joining us on all 4 parts. If you have, I'm very grateful and appreciative of you. And obviously stay tuned to the main channel. I'll be filming some new videos this week. It's just been an absolutely mad week, mad fortnight. So we'll get back to doing some videos very, very soon. And I'll be doing more here on the Movie Journal. So again, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. And I'll see you all next time right here on the CM42 TV Movie Journal. Thank ya.